are not those of WSRF 1580 AM, their staff, or management, but are strictly those of the hosts.
To source of information, the the only spot where you could get information regarding Medicare, retirement benefits, spousal benefits, and survival benefits. I think in a short period of time that we've been doing this particular show in English, we've covered a lot of information for you. We always welcome you to call on 305 945 1580, 305 945 1580 while you are listening to us live. We will take your questions live on the air and respond to you. During the week, you could always call me at 954 667 4885, 954 667 4885. And, we'll be able to answer your questions. If you have any comments, we always welcome any constructive criticism. So that's always welcome. Our goal is for us to get better as we do this show and for the information to flow to you as smoothly as possible. So we thank all of you with your kind words that I've gotten over the week. While I was at the center earlier, or was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. A gentleman was congratulating me on the job that we're doing, so I appreciate that. But I also need to hear your criticism also on how we're doing. This show is streaming live on WSRF AM 50. WSRF 1580 AM. Go on YouTube or Facebook Live. In fact, what I'm going to try to do right now, as we talk, and trying to go on Facebook and share that with some of you guys. And there's an area that says subscribe right underneath. It's a black. It's a black right below the picture. You could go on there and press that button, and every week you could come on and listen to us live while you are at home or wherever you may be enjoying the show. And it's very easy to reach me because you could see the guy with the nice shirt. So again, share it with a friend, share it with a family member, share the information, and if you want to know how you could contribute to this show, well, that's the way you could contribute to the show, by subscribing and also share it with your friend and watch us every week. Actually, what I also do is welcome you if you have any questions and you might be at work and not be able to call. The number to call, by the way, is 305 945 1580, 305 945 1580. Or what you could do is basically message me or text me on 954 667 4885. I will respond to you live on air to your question. So I have the phone right here next to me. So if you have a question, you could text it to me, and I will respond to you right away. Okay? All right. Let's start. I'm going to talk. First of all, let me give you guys a small background. Sometime when I come with a particular subject, it's partly because someone called me during the week and asked a question about it. And I usually find this is the best way to come to you and respond to those questions, because if one person is having an issue with that particular situation, then there's another one that could be going through it. Now, I am going to cater it to South Florida, to Florida in particular. And the reason for is because I know the benefits in Florida. I don't know what the benefits are like in Jersey, for example, which I have friends in Jersey. I don't know what the benefits are in New York. I don't know what the benefits are in Philadelphia. So I'm going to cater it to South Florida, but the same thing that we have in South Florida, it's the same benefits that we have in South Florida regarding Medicare and Social Security. The same goes true for you guys anywhere in the United States. Okay? I had a very, very good friend of mine that called me during the week, and that particular friend was having some issues. Trying to access certain benefits that's readily available to every single one of you. Okay? One of the benefits is if you have, and most of us, by the way, we at that point where we're getting closer to age, but fortunately, I guess the vast majority of my friends, I see they are healthy, they are active. So going into retirement, although we're a few years there, we'll be in a better position than our parents. Okay, although some of our parents are in the 80s, and of course, as you get into that later stage, then there's different element that was unexpected start to kick in. But let's assume that we are going to be doing much better than our parents. Well, we're going to concentrate for this moment because some of you may be dealing with a family member that need those benefits. The first benefits that I'm going to talk about is elder care. Elder care is a benefit that's designed for seniors. And to give you a background on how I found out about elder care, my grandmother at one point was, when she was living, she was insulin dependent. And so when she reached a point, she was going back and forth from the hospital because of a hypoglycemia also, which we'll cover that. And fortunately, I'll cover it because I know a little bit about it. Having experienced it with my grandmother and recently with a patient at the center. So what we had to do is find a way for her to get help. And the way for her to get help was contacting elder care. And we found out elder care, when we contact elder care, they have different programs for seniors where they would send someone to your home, whether it's to help with medications, make sure that particular individual take their medication. If they're insulin dependent, they will administer the insulin to them. Help them bathe. So we had a young lady that used to come, and that young lady used to help my grandmother bathe. She would sit there. My grandmother, she was well over 100. She was still cooking for herself. She did not want anybody to do that for her. So elder care, and the number for elder care, and I'll provide that number for you guys too, as I'm searching it for it. So elder care is a program that's here, and you could get seniors. You could get people that will come to your house, and that's for seniors. They will come to your house and they will bathe the individual. They will administer the medication. And the number for elder care is 954-745-9779. 954-745-9779. Now, first of all, the way elder care work is this way. When you call that number I just gave you guys, 954-745-9779, basically they will send you an application. That application is for the doctor to fill out with the diagnosis and the type of medication that the patient is taking, The patient is taken. Um, and some other items that's on there. It's been a long time since I've actually filled out one. The last time I think we did one for a patient, my administrator at the time, I provided the information. She called them and they sent the application in to her they could send it via email, and that application was taken to the doctor. The doctor filled it out, and then what they will do is send a nurse to your house to do an in-service. What I mean by an in-service, then the nurse will come in, check out your medication, do an examination if necessary, check your vital sign, really examine you to see whether you are someone that could benefit from this program. All right? That program is not for everyone, for anyone, or better yet, for everyone, because it is for an individual that's in a position, not in a position to help themselves. So they're very strict about that, making sure that this is somebody that could make better use of the program. So they will do an in-service. They will come in and make sure that you are qualified for the help that they're going to provide to you. And then after the in-service, once you're eligible, then they will send a nurse, if needed, to administer your medication. If it's twice a day, then most likely they'll send somebody twice a day. They will send someone to help you bathe. If you're unable to feed yourself, to also help you with feeding yourself. And a lot of people that are listening to me right now regarding this information, and we will try to provide that same information in the 3:00 hours if time's allowed. Otherwise, we'll swing back during the week to talk more about it for the other listeners. But they will come in and do all the things that I mentioned, and once you become eligible, and then that program will continue. Now, there may be a time, maybe 6 months down the line, a year down the line, they may have to do a review. So they'll send you another application, and again, the doctor will go through the same process. Fill it out, send it in, and so you could continue receiving those benefits. For more information, you could always call me at 954-667-4885, 954-667-4885. I am getting phone calls, and unfortunately, I can't answer it because this person is calling directly on my phone. Right now, if you need to get in contact with me, you could reach me at 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. That's the number to reach me right now. But during the week, you could reach me at 954-667-4885, 954-667-4885. Now, okay. So, again, if you need more information regarding elder care, call me and I'll provide the information to you. Now, let's talk a little bit about, I want to get into SSI. And the reason, you guys may hear me talk quite a few times about SSI. Excuse me. And it's because that I don't think that there's a lot of people that's not taking full advantage of SSI. First of all, what is SSI? It is Social Security Supplemental Income. So it's a supplemental income. That program is coming from the federal government. So what they did, they passed it on to Social Security. So Social Security could take over in terms of distributing the benefits, in terms of running that particular benefits. probably a better word than distributing. So all that information was passed on to Social Security to when they created this law, and Social Security took it over. Now you will see that there's different regulation regarding SSI, and all that information you got to go. I'll provide you with some, and the basic is very easy. Number one, you have to be 65 years or older. You have to be a U.S. citizen. Any change that's going to be taking place in your home, you have to report it within 10 days. And you cannot have more than $2,000 in your bank account for an individual. For a couple, it's $3,000. The amount for SSI right now for an individual is $914. That's the limit that you could receive. Now, there's some people that not taking advantage of SSI because they're not aware of the benefits. There are some other people that are not taking advantage of it is because, one, lack of information. Two, it's a matter of pride. Now, let me address the latter, pride. This is a benefit that while you were working, you basically was helping funding that program. So right now, if you're in a position where you need the help, do not allow pride to take over. Receive the help. I had a lady that came to me earlier, and she has been for I would say 6-7 years. She's been trying to get on SSI. She was on SSI, and because of the fact that, and this is an interesting story, because of the fact that she has 8 siblings, 7 siblings plus herself make 8, and they have a land in Jamaica. That land was left for the 8 siblings. So the mistake that she did was when she was applying for SSI, she told them that, yeah, I have a land in Jamaica. And they said, oh, you do? So we're going to need the paper on that land so we could find out exactly what's the value of the land. Now, when she told them that she has the land was divided among 8 people, now they wanted to find out exactly the value of each person. So what they did basically, at the time I was helping her, and she sent some information to Jamaica. Jamaica gave her the value of the land and divided by 8. When divided by 8, well, her share of it, her portion of it was about roughly about $2,000, and actually a little bit more than $2,000. So now the fact that it was over $2,000, she no longer is eligible to receive SSI. That's one example. I've seen, and I've been doing this. I've been doing this for about 17 years now, and I've run into a situation where an individual had a life insurance, but the life insurance that particular individual had was a whole life insurance. Remember, whole life, there's a cash value associated with it. So as you're paying into that particular policy, what they do, they take a portion of your premium and they set aside, and that's how your cash value is growing. And down the line, If you need to borrow from it, you could go in and borrow. So when you tell them that you have a policy and it's a whole life policy, first of all, if you tell them you have a policy, they're going to see the policy. They want to see the policy so that they could evaluate, they could look at exactly what's the cash value. So they will take the cash value and consider it as an income, because at any point you could access that. And that will dictate whether you're getting 900, whether you're getting 700 from SSI. But giving you all this background so that you have that information. But it's a good program, because if you don't have any income that's coming in, that will be very helpful to you. And even if you do have income that's coming in, such as retirement benefit that you have coming in, and it's about $500, for example, well, we could apply for SSI. SSI is going to give you an additional $300 to $400 to get you to that point, to that $914 that we're talking about. 954-667-4885. That's the number for you to reach me during the week. But, I'm taking calls right now, 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. So I'm taking calls right now. Please call me. I would like to hear from you guys. So, and those of you that's watching me live on Facebook right now, welcome. Again, your question, you could send me a text at 954-667-4885, 954-667-4885. And the live broadcast that's on right now, if you have a question for me, I'll be answering your question live right now. So, yes, I see there's one person that's maybe that's me that's on there. But we need more people to come on the live. And if you have any question or comment, you could send me a live chat, and I'll respond to you right away. So, again, I am going to, yes. So, let's continue. So, even if you're receiving retirement benefit, you could apply for SSI. Besides that, also, and you will get an additional income. Now, the way it will work is this way. Thank you, Ms. Barry. The way it would work is this way. You would get 2 checks a month. One of the checks that you will receive one on a particular date, and the second check you will receive it. Each of them 2 different dates. One at the beginning of the month, and one at the middle towards the end of the month. So you will receive 2 checks during that month, and it will equal to about $900 to $914. Now remember, once you become eligible for SSI, that's mean that you're eligible to receive food stamp, and you're eligible to receive Medicaid. Once you have those 2 benefits, if you obviously you're going to have Medicare, so then you become eligible so that Medicare Part B premium will be covered by the state. If you're in Florida, by the state of Florida. If you're in any other state, I'm sure the Medicaid portion of it will cover by your state. Because remember, Medicaid is a state-run program. You'll see, for example, down in South Florida, in order for you to be eligible for Medicaid, if you're not a U.S. citizen, you have to have 5 years residence. Now, if you're coming from another state to New York, not New York, to South Florida, automatically you will become eligible at the day that you set foot here. Okay, so It works for different from state to state. For example, if you go to if you just come in the United States, you go to New York, you go to Philadelphia, you go to Boston. The day that you set foot in that state, you're automatically eligible for Medicaid. So with SSI, automatically you're eligible to receive SSI with no issue. Now, there's with let's put it this way. Once you are receiving those benefits and you're getting Medicaid, for example, help covers all your co-payment, co-insurance, and all your co-pays. For those of you that's about to turn 65, or that's 65 already, once you get those benefits, the first thing you need to do, because I don't want you to fall into that trap, whereas you have benefits, yet you didn't sync them with your Medicare Advantage plan. And what I mean by that is that you're eligible for Medicaid. Someone applied for Medicaid for you. You are getting it, but you have to, at some point, once you become eligible to receive Medicaid, you call your agent or call the plan direct. Let them know that you have Medicaid. Some of you will receive the Gold Card. You could give them the information on the Gold Card. Technically, all they have to do is they could go on the site themselves and check that information. And I'm assuming that it's the same for throughout the United States, because once they go in and put in your Social Security number, they'll find out exactly whether you have Medicaid, who's your primary insurance, who's your secondary. In most cases, you may, if you at the age where you're getting Medicare, your Medicare Advantage plan is the primary, and it'll show your Medicare is the secondary, and it'll show that you have Medicaid also. 954-667-4885, 954-667-4885. That's the number for you to reach me during the week. But right now, I'm taking calls on 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. My friends from New York, let me hear from you guys with your questions. I have some friends, they'll call and they won't know how to behave. So we want those of you that's going to behave. Call with your question, 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. This is a show that we'll put you on live with your questions and all your comments. We want to hear from you. So yes, they're able to go and put in your name and your Social Security and date of birth and come up with all that information. It's the same way if you go to the hospital. Once you get there, they ask you for those information, and they're able to pull up all that information, whether you have Medicaid or not. And most cases, for us, when you come to us, the first thing, and what I mean by us, we'll plug CAMAX Medical Center. CAMAX Medical, when you come to us at CAMAX Medical Centers, what we will do is we will sit down and making sure that you do have those benefits. We'll file for Medicaid for you. We'll file for the food stamp for you. And there's one thing we haven't not talked about today: low-income subsidies. Low-income subsidy, that's the part that that subsidize your prescription drug. Low-income subsidy. You get once you turn 65. That's one of the envelopes that you will get. And I'm talking about those of you right now that's about to turn 65. You will be receiving a lot of mail. You will be receiving a lot of calls. You have to be very careful about that. And the reason I say that to you is because you're going to be bombarded with mails. earlier as I was coming down here and I received a call. This young lady is eligible. She received her Medicare, and she wanted to know what to do. So I told her to come over to the office and see me, and let's get you enrolled in a Medicare Advantage plan. She was telling me she was receiving a lot of phone calls, a lot of mails, and she didn't know what to do. Listen, if you're listening to me right now and you are in the state of Florida, specifically South Florida, and if you're getting a lot of, if you're about to turn 65, you don't know what to do, the best thing you could do for yourself is call me, 954-667-4885, 954-667-4885. I almost forgot my own number now. Because you want, first of all, you want to make sure that whoever's going to help you with that particular situation knows exactly what they're doing, know exactly the information, know where to go, how to direct you to get the best you could get out of this particular program. I've been, like I said, I've been doing it for about 17 years now, and that was the best decision that I made while I was going through all these all the hard times, and I made the decision to transition to healthcare. In the process, along the years, we've helped a lot of people. So you cannot go wrong if you call me. Even if you were in New York, even if you were out of the state of Florida, you call me and I'll direct you. And if I don't have the information, I'll get it for you. Now, for those of you guys that's living in New York or Boston or Rhode Island, and you want to leave the cold and come down to South Florida, and you are at that retirement age, or you coming down here already with your Medicare card, again, that number is the number for you to call so that we could help you get the best out of your benefits. Because down here, there's, the great thing about South Florida is those benefits are very easily accessible to you if you know where to go and how to get that information. I know nowadays everybody goes to Google everything. But even certain information, even if you Google them, this is not something that you could do it by chance. You got to make sure that somebody who knows what they're doing is the one that's going to help you. So we're going to go back to low-income subsidy. Low-income subsidy, it's a program that came out during President Bush, the son. And when he revisited the Part D program, and that's one of the adjustments that he made. So he didn't go as far as he would have liked to, but they created low-income subsidy. They another word they call it is help with prescription drugs. When they created that program, I remember it was like a big window had opened. So many people that were struggling to pay their prescription drugs, they would have to make a decision whether to eat or pay that co-payment for that drugs that they really need. And so when that came about, and I remember getting that call and said, go ahead, you could help these people. You could sign this person out. You could sign this person. And we were signing people left and right at the time. And what it really does is this. If you have a medication that you are, a prescription drug that you are taking, a portion of it is going to be covered by low-income subsidy. There's different level. We won't go into that today, because I realize that I'm just talking to you, throwing information to you, and it may be a good idea to do it that way. It may not be, but you have my phone number as a fallback. Some of the information that I'm giving you, if you need more clarification on it, please do not hesitate to call me. I will do my best to answer your question and answer it in a way that you will be able to understand it. So low income subsidy will pay a portion of it. If you have Medicaid, Medicaid will pay another portion of your medication, and the Medicare Advantage plan that you are on will pay another portion. So you will end up by maybe you depending on the prescription drug, you may have a copayment from $0 to $6. One of the other great thing about the low income subsidy is the fact that is the threshold for you to be eligible for it in terms of income is very high. I think it's about $21,000. You find in most cases, like if you take SSI for example, for you to be eligible for SSI, you can't have no more than $2,000 in the bank. If you take for qualified Medicare benefits, you can have, I think the threshold is about $1,634. So, and this is a month. Whereas low-income subsidies, it gives you a much bigger amount that you could have in the bank, a much bigger amount. So I think it's about $2,100 a month it equates to. So it's more than $21,000 a year to be the income threshold for eligibility. In the days to come, what I will do is probably come up with that information for you guys, and those of you who may need it sooner, you could text me on either Messenger or WhatsApp, and I'll provide that information for you. I don't have the information for the other state, but for South Florida, I do have the information readily available, and we could always send it to you. Okay? You could call me right now on 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580, and we'll answer your question live on air. Okay, so low-income subsidy, the real goal for it is to help you with prescription drugs. So now more and more, what they're doing in part of with prescription drug is with generic, the generic is basically zero. You have zero copayment with generic, and because of the fact that the cost of that particular drug is much lower, so you have a zero copayment for it, and it does a great job. So more and more, the doctors are prescribing generic, whereas before the first option was the brand name. They would prescribe you the brand name. So where are we? We've furnished you with a lot of information. Let's talk about a little bit about Medicare before, and we have another probably 14 minutes left. So let's talk about Medicare. You will hear me talk quite often about Medicare, and the reason for it is because, and the main reason why I'm doing this show in English, because I realize that my friends, they didn't have the information about Medicare. They don't have information about retirement benefits, and those benefits that I'm talking about, they don't have it. And right now, it's important for them because their parents are on Medicare. Their parents are receiving retirement benefits. Their parents may be in need for elder care. So I felt that it was necessary to come with this particular show in English. And what I try to do is at the end of each show and take the time to share it. And I'm glad I'm able to share it with you guys in live and Facebook. I please implore you, share it with a friend, a family member. And that way, this information, I have a friend that was listening, and she always says that and I'm going to paraphrase her, it's like taking a seed. If that seed is dropped on cement, well, that seed won't grow. But if you take that seed and that seed is dropped on fertile ground, it will produce a plant. So it will grow. So we want to, the information that we're providing to you, we're not putting a do not publish sign on it. We want you to share the information. Because you have about $10,000, 10,000 people per day. Supposedly that moves down to South Florida. So if you guys, and if we take throughout the United States, the amount of people that are retiring per day, and yet those people don't have the information that we're talking about, then, we're doing a disservice to all those people that's going to go to the Social Security office blindly, not having the information. This is the information that you should be having in your possession well before you made the decision. Before you make the decision to retire, that's information that you should have. In fact, earlier I got a call about early retirement. I said I was going to talk about Medicare, but let's talk about early retirement because I think that's very important. And they wanted to know that at what age should they take the early retirement. And first of all, if you're going to retire early, you have to know what's entailed exactly. What are you going to face with? Because not so many people knows that if you take early retirement right now start at 62. Everyone that was born in 1959, their full retirement is 66 years and 8 months. And 10 months, excuse me. So those of you that was born in 1960, then your full retirement is 67. So we're not going to go into 1960 yet. We're going to stay with 1959 because a lot of those people right now, they're set to retire. And if we even go, and those people that's set to retire right now, if they had decided to say, well, I'm not going to wait till 66 and 10 months. I'm going to try to take it at 65. Well, when you do the math, the percentage at the time for 65 was forgot the exact percentage. It's in the 90s, but it's not 101%. I think it's about 94, 95%. These are things that you should be aware of. And did you know that if you continue to work, because as you're working, you're going to contribute to Social Security. Well, they have an income threshold where if you exceed that amount, for every $2 that you make, they will hold back for you. And I use the word very carefully, hold back $1. And the way it works is like this. this year it went up to 21,500. So let's say, for example, you're working and you're making 41,500, and you decide to say, well, I'm making 41,500, and I'm going to take that extra. Let's say, for example, you're getting, for math's sake, let's say $1,000. Well, remember, you're making $20,000 more than what they are asking for you to make. So remember, for every $2 that you make, they're going to hold back a dollar. So they're going to hold back $10,000 for you. And the way they're going to get that $10,000 is the first year you're going to get your full $12,000 for the year. But the second year, the first month, each month they're going to hold $1,000 for the next 10 months. That's how they get that money. And they will write you later on and let you know that, well, first of all, they'll write you and say you've exceeded that amount by 20,000. So and they'll work out the math for you. They'll tell you that you exceeded by 20,000. We're going to hold 10,000. And that 10,000 is going to go into your benefits. So when you receive your statement, it'll show that you've contributed 51,500 into Social Security. Now remember, the way they came about to your the amount that you'll be receiving from Social Security is calculating the last 35 years of work. So they could come up with an amount. Now that doesn't mean that if you work 40 years, they don't take the previous 5 years into consideration. They're going to take the whole entire amount that you contributed into consideration, but they're going to base the amount that you made in the last 35 years so that it'll be what you'll be receiving on a monthly basis. So that money, when they take it from you, they'll put it back. And down the line, they're going to write you and tell you, well, we miscalculated the amount that you should be received. We're going to make an adjustment on your monthly payment for X amount. So if, let's say, for example, you decided to take it at the age of 63, and your full retirement is 66 and 8 months, excuse me. So you got 3 years which they've been taking money and make adjustment. Even though the 3 years that you took it, maybe it was in about 85%, 87%. That's what you're receiving. But what you contributed back into it will never make up for the amount that you took, that you should have received. Put it this way: had you taken it for at full retirement age. 305-945-1580. We have about 2 minutes left, so I don't think we have enough time for phone calls, but you could always reach me at 954-667-4885, 954-667-4885. And if you have any question regarding what we discussed today, you're welcome. Or, go on the Facebook page, send me a question. I will respond to you on that page, so that not only that you have it, but everyone else that come on that page will have it. So that's another way for us to continue this conversation, allow it to continue through. Listen, the time is almost up. It was a pleasure to bring this information to you today. Again, remember to subscribe. Remember to share it. This is great information we provided to you. I know that we didn't take a break. I know it's a lot of information, but you could go back in and replay it. This is great information. Well, it was a pleasure for me to be here with you this afternoon. My name is Gilbert Franklin. You could always reach me at 954-667-4885, 954-667-4885. That's the best number to reach me during the week. And we shall provide all the necessary information for you. I love you guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.